told Dream, don't travel to us because a lot of roads been closed. And we didn't want nothing to happen to him. And me and Nadine was already frightened because for 2 nights, even though we was cold, we got from underneath that cover and we got on our knees and we prayed. We prayed and we live where people live next to us have a newborn baby, not a baby or a toddler, newborn baby. The baby was screaming and crying all night, hollering. So we was praying for the baby because we were just like, if we can't take the cold, that baby not gonna be able to take it. And I was just praying and hoping that her family was keeping her warm.
You touch me, send tingles down my spine. You help me feel alive.
Hello. Welcome back to ASMRTheChew. And I'm Spirit. Welcome back to story time. Yay. I know she didn't say story time. Yes, this is story time. And today I'm going to talk about how I made it through the winter storm in freaking Texas with my family. And I got me some cold water, which I am grateful for. I've been drinking so much more water than usual, and I don't know if it's like a mental thing of the thought of not having enough water. I don't know if that's what it is, but I've been so thirsty all the time since the winter storm. I don't know if it triggers something or what, but I'm gonna talk about it. And I have me some Bugles. These are Nacho cheese Bugles, y'all. I love Bugles. I love the originals, but the Nacho cheese, I'm not sure if I would love them. We'll find out. So grab your headphones. Let's get started. Now that's how a bag's supposed to open, nice and easy. They look, they smell good too. They're good. Okay, let's talk about this storm, y'all. So I've been in Texas since 2012, and I have never experienced anything like this since I've been to Texas. We went through 2 major floods and hurricanes, but as far as like an Arctic storm and Arctic cold, we didn't go through that. One of the reasons why I moved to Texas because Virginia was getting too cold for me, and my doctor recommended that I start to move to or live in a warmer climate. And plus things was getting rough for me in Texas, especially after I had surgery. Just trying to make it got hard, so we end up in Texas. And one thing I could say about the Texas, weather is hot. It gets hot. I mean, you do experience some chilly months. When we first got here, it was around, I think it was between October and November of 2012. And we saw a few people wearing jackets and coats, and me and my daughter, my son, me and my children were laughing. We was like, oh my gosh, are we actually sweating? But we were just coming from Virginia where it was much colder. When we got to Texas, we was like, wow, it's freaking nice out here. The weather is nice. And we was okay with the chilly air, but you know, after a few years of being in Texas, you start to adapt to the climate. So the little bit of chilly do come in. You're cold. I never thought that I would be cold at like 60, 65. But yeah, 65 degrees started feeling chilly because Texas get super hot. Now, we watched the weather. And everybody was talking about a storm coming. And they started saying that it was going to be an Artic cold. And they said that the temperatures were going to be dropping down to the 40s, the 30s, the 20s. It was like, what? Oh my God, that's cold. Now, it's crazy, but I would never, ever forget this experience. I'll never remember like time and dates and frames and stuff like that when it comes to weather. I don't take it as serious. But I remember it was a Monday, right before the Valentine's Day holiday. And Valentine's Day started on a Sunday, okay? I called my son on a Monday and I said, Dream, make sure you're out there and you're getting your food, get everything you need to buckle down with. Because they saying that Texas is going to be cold, right? So me and my daughter, we went out there. It was so crazy. It was so crazy because we really didn't think that it was going to be so serious. We went out there and we did about different curbsides to get different things for our food, for the stuff we's going to need to be in the house, because they said prepare to be in the house for a couple of days. That's what they said. Whenever they say storm, everybody out there getting everything they need. We put in our order. They gave us a time to pick it up. Then, out of nowhere, they changed the time for our order. They put it on another day. And we said, okay, so we put in another curbside somewhere else. And we noticed that when we put in a curbside, they would fill the order, but some of the food would not be there. They wouldn't have this, they wouldn't have that, they wouldn't have this. So we started trying at other stores. And usually, if you want curbside, some stores do the same day. Some stores do like the next day. This time they was doing like a couple of days days later, we put in an order, but they moved our order again, and they moved it to that Friday for us to pick it up. The young lady told us they didn't have our food, that we would have to come and get it on Sunday morning around 7 o'clock in the morning. And I was saying to myself, on the news they were saying, don't go outside, do not get on the road for no reason whatsoever, because the roads were going to be icy. So we talked to a young lady and said, well, can we just wait now? Like, we'll wait a couple of hours till they have our food. And she was like, it's not going to be ready, not till Sunday. So at first we told her that we'll wait. And she said, no, it's not going to be ready. So we said, okay, we'll come back Sunday. So we sat in the parking lot trying to think, like, what if we can't get back up here on Sunday? So we told the young lady to go ahead and cancel the order. We're not going to worry about it. So we tried to get our food 3 times, and we ended up not getting what we needed for everything, what we needed for the storm. So we decided to just start going through our cabinets and seeing what we can survive off for the storm, because we weren't able to get all the stuff that we had ordered Friday. I called my son, and I told my son, make sure that you get water. Because at first I told him about the food, now I'm telling him about the water, because they were saying start filling up buckets, whatever you could do to reserve your water, because the pipes might be frozen and we might not even have water. For some reason, I'm thinking, okay, they're talking about storm, we might not have water for like a few days, an hour, or something like that. They said just in case the pipes freeze. I didn't really like take it like, oh, it's gonna be like serious. I'm thinking like, yeah, it's gonna get cold, and they said it was gonna warm up within right after the storm. So I'm thinking, yeah, everything's gonna be fine. So we started getting buckets, pitchers, container, and filling them up with water, and putting them underneath the sink, putting them in different places just in case we needed the water. I was thinking more water to wash up, flush the toilet, on that term, stuff like that. And I didn't think like I needed to get a whole lot of water. I was just thinking like maybe about 6 big buckets, some bottles, some pitchers, and something like that. We'll be fine. And we wasn't lucky enough to buy like a whole lot of water, but we was able to get some water. And we noticed they had put a limit on it. We still didn't think it was a big deal, because we was thinking after the storm we'll get water. It's no big deal. Saturday night, like I was saying, I be feeling thirsty ever since the storm. But I am eating chips, but I'm like, seriously, no kidding. My mouth be dry. We tried to get in contact with Dream, which is my son. He wouldn't answer the phone. He wouldn't call us back. We started getting worried because that Saturday, it was like raining a little bit, and they were saying that the roads were getting slippery. And I think that we just wanted to feel that he was home and he was safe and not to be out there because the road's gonna turn to ice. They said that it could be that deadly, so we were worried. Next thing, our doorbell rang, and we was like, oh my God. So in one sense, I was like so happy to know my son was at my house. But in the other sense, I was a little angry, or a lot, because it scared me to not hear from him. And he comes in with gifts. Gifts for Nadine, gift for myself for Valentine's Day. And I told him, I said, Dream, thank you so much, even though I'm happy. Even if you would have had to wait till after the storm to give us our gifts, I would have been okay with that. I would have rather you stay home and be safe. He said, I know, Mom, I'm going to be all right. So we told him he couldn't stay unless he going to stay and stick it out through the storm with us. Okay, but if he planned on going home, he needed to go now because it was getting cold. It was getting colder by the minutes. My son said, okay, I'm getting on the road. I'm going to go home, but I'm going to call you when I get there. We called my son. Now, if I call my son in an hour, he's supposed to be like, hey, Mom, I made it home. I'm good. We call him an hour later. Dream, how's everything? You make it home? No, Mom. I ain't nowhere near home. I said, what? What's going on? He said, Mom, the roads are bad out here. It's real bad. I started worrying. So we told him every 20 minutes we was going to call him until he get home. And that's exactly what we did. When he finally made it home, it's just like, thank goodness, he said he's safe. And he said, Mom, whatever you do, don't leave the house. The roads are really, really bad. So I told him I was going to see him after the storm. I asked him, did he get his food? He said, yeah, I went to Walmart. He said he spent about $250. He got all his food and everything. I said, okay, try to keep warm. And for some reason, I wasn't really too worried about him. Like, once he in the house, I thought, like, I'm not going to be too worried about him because Dream get really hot. And he keep his house really, really cold. That Saturday night, me and Nadine had the heat on. We had the little heater on. It was getting so cold. We started pulling stuff out the cabinet because our main food was coming from Kroger's. And they told us they didn't have our food. So we wasn't really like all the way prepared for the storm. And the other food we got from different places, but it wasn't everything that we needed. Like we got something from here, something from there, and something from there. We tried to go different places to get like oodles and noodles. We was thinking if it get too cold, you got oodles and noodles, you got a freaking meal. Yeah, I think we went to like 5 places and no I think the last place we tried, we found 2 single cups of oodles and noodles. Now, where you know they sell 2 single cups, you know the noodles and noodles come in a pack of 3. We found 2 little single cups of oodles and noodles, and we still didn't take it that serious. I was telling Nadine I could put on cabbage, I can make beans, we'll be okay if it get cold. And we can't get out and get full, we'll still be okay. We can make rice. We'll be okay. So Nadine pulled out the peanut butter and jelly, the saltine crackers. She bought a loaf of bread. She bought some cheese. We got the bread and cheese, and what else she bought? And our refrigerator was filled with vegetarian food, like hamburgers, sausage, meatball, corn dogs. We was good on that end. We didn't have like no goodies, like the stuff that we wanted to have because of the storm. But because like we had ordered like Oreos, cookies and stuff, so I was in the grocery. Like Kroger's had all our good snacks, and we didn't get them. So Nadine was like, "Mom, if it get too cold, we gonna be alright." She picked up some hot chips. She picked up flaming freaking hot chips. You know where you only could eat 2. She's like, "Mom, when it get real cold, we gonna be glad to have these hot chips." So I was saying about I can make cabinet soup. Everything could be fine. So I was telling Nadine, Sunday morning, we gonna get I'm gonna put the crock pot on. I'm gonna put some cabbage on. I'm gonna cook some salmon. I'm gonna make some macaroni and cheese. That's what I was telling her, the things that we was gonna do. Saturday during the day, when we was out trying to get some food, we picked up a pizza, a $5 pizza, because we were saying, well, we'll be alright through the storm. We ain't got no snacks, but we got a pizza. We'll be alright. Saturday, we go to bed. We had all these plans what we was gonna do for Sunday. In the middle of the night, it got real cold. It got, I'm gonna say iceberg cold. It got so cold. And Nadine, she came to check on me. And she was like, "Mom, you okay?" I said, "I'm cold." She said, "Okay." She said, "I'm gonna get some extra blankets." And because we just now moving, we still don't have all our stuff. Nadine took all her blankets off her bed, brought them to my room, put them on my bed, and she got in the bed with me. And it was so cold, we had the heater on, getting through the night. And even with the heat on, it just felt really cold. And Nadine was watching something on her phone. And we was up. Then all of a sudden, everything went out. Everything was about 1 o'clock in the morning. And me and Nadine was just like laying there. I was like, the lights just went out. She's like, yeah. I said, you know what? They'll be back on. They ain't gonna be out that long. About 3 o'clock in the morning, the lights didn't come back on. But it got really, really, really cold. from the temporary apartment, and she found some extra blankets and she brought them upstairs. And we were doing okay. But then that morning hit. We was in the bed. It was so freaking cold. When I got up to try to use the bathroom, I literally could feel once you pull the covers off of you, you could feel the coldness hit you, and you like tense up. And I was like, oh my God, it's cold. Went to the bathroom. We grabbed a couple of flashlights. We put a flashlight in the bathroom. We put a flashlight near the bed, and we didn't really want to we didn't really want to use candles, because candles are very dangerous. So we had flashlights everywhere. We put a flashlight in the bed with us, flashlight in the bathroom. When I got back in the bed, I was like, Nadine, I hope the lights come back on. It is freezing. So about 1 o'clock that afternoon, we didn't even get out of the bed. It was so cold. We didn't even get out to fix us nothing to eat because it was so cold. It was icy cold. Nadine looked on her phone, and it said that the temperature had dropped down like 10 degrees, minus 10 degrees, something like that. So we started trying to call Dream to see if he was doing okay. The cell phone wouldn't work. We couldn't make no phone calls out. And we was like, okay, we ain't got no lights. We can't call nobody. All we could do is lay here. So me and Nadine started trying to reserve her phone because the electricity didn't come back on. And crazy thing is, I was planning on charging up my phone on Sunday, but we didn't even make it till Sunday during the day, 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. Actually 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning, the lights went out. So I never even had a chance to charge up my phone. We couldn't get in contact with my son. So then around, I would say, maybe about 4 o'clock that afternoon, Nadine's phone started kind of working for her to get out. And she got in contact with Dream, and she said, Dream, is everything okay with you? He said, yeah, everything's good over here. He said, what y'all doing? She said, we ain't got no lights. He said, what? You ain't got no lights? And we said, the lights been out since about 1 o'clock in the morning. He was like, well, my lights are on over here. And we was like, okay, that's good. He said, don't worry, the light's gonna come back on. He said, I'm gonna call y'all. Because what happened was, before my daughter called Dream, we had got a text from him, and he was saying if we don't call him or let him know we okay, around 6 or 7 o'clock that night, he was coming to the house. But around 4 o'clock, Nadine's phone got the text, so she was able to call him back and tell him that we was okay and that we was underneath a lot of covers, but the house is really, really cold and there's no lights. And we were so happy that Dream had lights. So we was thinking, in a couple of hours, the lights gonna come back on. We headed to Dream's house. So a couple of hours more had passed. Nadine got up and she went and made us both a cheese sandwich. We was making it off of bread and cheese, okay? She made both of us a cheese sandwich. That sandwich was cold as freak, but it was good because we was hungry. But we was cold and we had nothing. You know, when you cold, you don't want no cold water. You want something hot to drink, but you had nothing hot to drink or nothing. Right about 7 o'clock, we called Dream, and Dream was saying that he still got lights. So we told Dream that we gonna probably start packing up, and we headed down to his house. So the house is freezing, right? And we can't see. It's dark. And Nadine was saying, okay, Mom, we gotta find something. We gotta dress warm, but we're gonna have to find a way to make it to Dream House. So Nadine looked on her phone and news, and it said all the roads had froze. It's icy, and they started closing down all of the main roads. So then Nadine was like, okay, we're not gonna be able to make it to Dream House. We're gonna have to make it out of this. So we called Dream back. And we said, Dream, we're not gonna be able to make it to your house. And he said, yeah, don't get on the road. The roads are icy. And he was like, don't worry, the light's gonna come back on. So me and Nadine, now it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Now it's about 9 o'clock at night. So we decided that, when you're in the dark, time go by real slow. Just like really slow. And we was underneath the covers. And I said, Nadine, call Dream back, see what he doing. She couldn't get through. She couldn't get through them. The phone stopped working again. We had no phone service. It was gone. Think about around 12 o'clock at night. The phone started working again. But it was like, you only could hear every other word. Like, Dream talking to us. And he would say, Mom, da-da-da-da-da. And we wouldn't be able to hear nothing else. Just pick up little words. And then finally, we could hear him a little bit. And he said, my lights are out. And we was like, oh man, dang. He's like, yeah, my lights just went out. He said, but it's gonna be okay. He said, let me know when your lights come back on. I said, okay, Dream, we'll let you know. About 4 o'clock in the morning, we tried to call Dream on Monday. We couldn't get in contact with him. And I don't think he could get in contact with us. We had no phone service. The phone didn't work. We had no internet service. We had no lights. And the lights were just out. About Monday, I would say, maybe about 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock that night, my son was able to call us. Dream tried to call us again. We couldn't hear him on the phone. So he texted us and he was asking us, did our lights come back on? And we told him our lights didn't come back on. And he said that he was cold and that the lights didn't come back on. And I was telling him that maybe on Tuesday the lights was going to be back on. So we went the whole night again to Saturday night, Sunday, all day Sunday, and all day Monday with no lights, and it was cold. Tuesday, my son called early in the morning. The phones were working. We were so happy the phones was working. We was like, oh my God, the phones are working. And my son was on the phone and he was like, Mom. I was like, Dream. He said, Mom, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I said, Dream, I can hear you. You okay? He said, Mom, I'm cold. I can barely feel my toes now. I'm so cold. And it's literally, I started feeling really bad because I was so cold that a piercing pain was going through my body. Like you could feel the piercing cold going through your body. I immediately was in so much pain I couldn't even move. And I told my son, he said, Mom, I'm gonna have to try to make it up there with y'all. It's too cold where I'm at. It's too cold. And I said, but Dream, it's cold where we at too. We rather you stay where you're at and be safe. He said, but if all three of us together in the same room, our body heat, we gonna make it. We told Dream, don't travel to us because a lot of roads been closed. And we didn't want nothing to happen to him. And me and Nadine was already frightened because for 2 nights, even though we was cold, we got from underneath that cover and we got on our knees and we prayed. We prayed and we live where people live next to us have a newborn baby, not a baby or a toddler, newborn baby. The baby was screaming and crying all night, hollering. So we was praying for the baby because we were just like, if we can't take the we was thinking like, oh my God, the lights are back on, the lights are back on. And me and Nadine started running through the house trying to get hot water in the microwave, and we put hot water in the canister. We made hot coffee. Nadine made the cup of noodle soup. She made those, and next thing we know, we called Dream and we told him our lights were back on. He said, "Mom, I'm gonna find a way to come over there." And I said, "No, Dream, the rose a call." He said, "Well, I'm in my car, but I can't warm up in my car because I need to be driving. My car is not heating up the way that I need to heat up. I'm frozen." I guess that night, Dream started traveling towards where we live at. I was so worried. I didn't think it was gonna make it, but it took him a long time. But he drove slow. He made it to where we made it, where we live at. So what we did was, while the lights were on, we got the heater, we plugged it in one room, and we turned it up as high as we could, and we put towels, huge blankets over the window that in the room that we was in, trying to reserve the heat. So when Dream made it, by the time Dream made it, the lights were out. And actually, the lights went out not too long after we talked to him on the phone. And I was saying to myself, oh my God, why the lights are out? The lights are out. And then the worst part was, we was doing okay. Like, you go to the bathroom, you flush the toilet, when you wash your hands. That night that the lights went out again, the water was gone. And it was so crazy because when the lights went out and Dream was trying to make it to the house, me and Nadine immediately got back into the bed. We got underneath the covers and we were just laying there, right? And we heard this noise in the wall next to my bedroom, where there's no sink, there's no bathroom. On the wall where I sleep at, on the other side of the wall should be like the living room. And we heard this crackling noise. It was like crackle, crackle, and then all of a sudden it sounded like the whole house was pouring, like you could hear water like through all the wall. And I'm looking around, saying, "Nadine, what is that?" She said, "I don't know." I said, "It sounds like the whole house is drenching in water." She said, "Yeah, I think the pipes might have burst or something because we could hear the water flowing through the walls." So we got up to check the house to see if water was like coming through the house, and it wasn't on we found out later on that the pipes did burst, but it burst like on through the walls, and I guess the water ran out through the porch on the side of the house. So we was grateful that the pipes didn't burst and it came inside the house. So Dream made it to the house. We were so grateful that he made it. He was so cold, but he got comfortable in the same room with us, and we all just kind of like talked. We rested, and we all went to sleep. And out of nowhere, in the middle of the night, the lights were back on. So everybody, including Dream, we was like, "Do what you gotta do real quick." We turned the heat on. We warmed up some food, some cheese. Well, me and Nadine was eating cheese bread. We didn't have time to think about doing anything else because we knew that the lights weren't gonna be on. Like, literally, the lights, every time the lights came on, they only lasted for about a good 20 minutes. So that's the only amount of time you had to get yourself together as far as whatever you could do. Next thing you know, the lights were out again, but we were here just waiting for it. and we was thinking that everything was gonna be okay, everything's gonna be okay. The next day, Dream, he was cold, and he was saying, if the lights come back on, I'm gonna try to make it home to see if my lights came back on. So I think that morning the lights came back on. Dream was sleeping. Me and Nadine got up making breakfast and things like that. But we realized we had no water. And during the time that the lights went out and there was no water, we used the waters in our bucket to flush the toilet. And then the worst happened. The toilets wouldn't flush no more. I don't know what happened. Like, usually you could pour the water in and it'd just go down. You could pour water in, it was just rising. The toilet wouldn't flush no more. So then we just realized, like, oh my God, like, what is going on? So that morning, we asked Dream, did he want some coffee to warm up? He said, yeah. And he headed back to his home because he was singing that we can't stay in a place where we may have lights for about 20 minutes and then we don't have no water. We can't use the bathroom. We can't shower. We can't do nothing. So he said he's going to head to his house to see if his lights are back on. Dream made it home and he said to us, he says, Mom, now this is Thursday. He says, Mom, I got lights and I got hot water. So me and the team, Dream got lights and Dream got hot water. We were so freaking happy because we literally had no water at all and the lights were not staying on. So me and Nadine packed up and we head to my son's house. We were so freaking happy and the weather had warmed up a little bit more. So the grounds were no longer like icy or dangerous. So we head over to Dream's house. All I could think about was a hot shower. I just wanted to wash my hair, scrub, and just be underneath the hot water. And thank God that's all I wanted to do. We get down to Dream house. And Dream said, Mom, go ahead and relax. I'm going to fix up the bed. Me and Nadine took down the blow-up bed. We brought it with us to Dream house. We brought the blow-up bed with us to Dream house. Dream blew it up. Got comfortable. He says, Mom, I'm going to the bathroom. I'm going to clean my bathroom so you can take a nice shower. And Nadine, she went to go wash her a cup and she was getting ready to drink her some cold freaking water. So when she went to go wash this cup, she noticed that it wasn't getting clear. And she just keep on running. She thinking that it's the soap. It wasn't getting clear. It wasn't getting clear. And she holds the cup up. And she's staring at it. Child. It was some stuff in the water. She's like, oh my God, what is this? Dream looking at the water. I'm looking at the water. She said, Dream, even though your water's on, we can't get in that water. Something's in the water. So we let the water run, trying to see if it'll clear out. The water never cleared up. It was something in the water. The only good thing that we can do was use the bathroom. I have been holding my stomach for like 4 days, okay? And I need to use the was so bad. So I used the bathroom, and I was relieved that I got to use the bathroom, and I was able to flush the toilet. But I wasn't able to take a shower because it was something in the water. So we was disappointed about that, but we stayed at Dream House, and we had some heat, and we was able to have a good night's sleep, and we wasn't cold. It was very humbling. It was a very humble experience. He said, Mom, we might can't take no shower, but at least we got heat now. I said, Dream. He said, Mom, this cold weather, this wasn't like a regular storm. This was the type of cold that you're lucky if you made it through the night. Like, it was deadly cold. It was so cold. But yeah, we stayed at my son's house, and we was warm. But then we came home. I think we stayed at my son's house Friday, and we didn't come back home till Saturday. And when we came back home Saturday, the lights were on, but the water didn't come back on. Me and Nadine was dealing with trying to find water, and it's like it ain't much you could do. It's like without water, you can't really clean up. You can't really get back into the swing of things, and we had that stress and that whole week on us. We didn't even have a shower, so it's just like miserable. No water at all. Not even a drip or drop was coming out. And I think it took like 2 days, 2 more days, and then the water came on. And it came on slow. So when the water came back on, it was like coming out the faucet stove. We was able to flush the toilets. We was able to start cleaning up. We had to let the water run for about they said a few minutes, but we let the water run for about an hour, because even after an hour, it was stuff in the water. Like, I don't want to like scare y'all to death, but it was stuff in the water. It was after the water ran, it still didn't clear up. I think the water didn't clear up for like another day, and that's when we were able to go ahead and start washing dishes, washing things down, being able to take a shower. But it was a difficult time period. And then to wake up to the news, hearing a lot of people didn't make it through the storm. We had people that passed in their house, passed in their bed, passed in their car because of that storm, the winter snow. Texas was not prepared. Child, I wasn't ready. I was not ready. In my mind, I really didn't think that this was going to be survival time. Like, we may not make it through this. Me and Nadine was so cold in that bed. I got scared. I woke up one morning from being cold. My lip was dry. My tongue was dry. I was so dehydrated just from the cold. That's how cold it was. I couldn't move my fingers. It was so cold, and that scared me a lot. So now we're doing things to like prepare us for the cold, like whatever we can get in case the lights go out, or emergency water, flashlights, whatever that we can start buying to prepare us for something like this again. That's what we're doing. I'm hoping that we don't go through this again, because this was a really scary time. It was scary. I mean, when I tell you that I felt scared to go to sleep, I felt scared. I felt like I had to keep checking on Nadine, and Nadine kept checking on me. At one point, when Nadine went to sleep, I didn't hear nothing from her. Nothing. She didn't move. She ain't say nothing. I froze like in my heart, and I started like shaking her, and she woke up and she was like cold, and I was like, Nadine, you okay? She said, yeah, Mom, I'm okay. She said, you okay? I said, yeah, I'm okay. I said, you scared me for a minute. I didn't hear you. She's like, yeah, it's cold. I'm so cold. I think the cold put you in a deep sleep. That is like a dangerous sleep. And at one point, my daughter started shaking me. And because, I move, I breathe. You can hear me when I sleep. My daughter didn't hear me. And when I opened my eyes, she looked like she was scared to death. She's like, Mom, you okay? I said, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. We had to keep checking on each other because it was like ice cold. Like your body was literally freezing. I was so cold, even though I was underneath the covers, I still felt like I was frozen. So I'm glad that time is over. I'm glad I made it through the storm. And I feel bad for a lot of people and families that lost someone through the storm. And I'm hoping that now we can start preparing and Texas can start getting ready because it is global warming. I just don't think nobody ever expected something like this. It was terrible. We saw little kids outside when the snow first came down. I was shocked. I was shocked to see a freaking snowing outside like it was in Virginia. Now I seen snow in Virginia, but I didn't see no snow in Texas. It was snowing and little kids were out there playing in the snow, but it didn't last no more than 10 minutes because our lights was out. How you gonna warm up playing in the snow? Thank you so much for watching Story Time.